Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. It is going to be a very big day for Bihar because voting is taking place for the fifth phase of assembly elections. That is the big story that we are tracking, and other news as well. But first, the headlines. Voting underway in 57 constituencies across 9 districts in the fifth and final phase of polling in Bihar. Prime Minister said to launch gold investment options, schemes to allow people to earn interest on gold deposits and tap into unproductive gold hoards in country. US and European intelligence suggest a bomb planted by IS is likely cause of last weekend's crash of Russian airliner over Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. Indo-Canadian Sikh Harjit Sajjan is the new Defence Minister of Canada. He, along with the 29 other cabinet colleagues, sworn in as Justin Trudeau takes over as the new Prime Minister. And India take on South Africa in the first test at Mohali today. Kohli's side will look for a turnaround in fortune after losing the T20 and ODI series. Well, 57 constituencies spread across 9 districts are voting in the fifth and the final phase of elections in Bihar. Preparations are in place with the Election Commission pulling out all the stops to ensure free and fair polling. Security is at an unprecedented high so as to ensure smooth polling. Here is more.
After successfully holding 4 phases of assembly elections on October 12, 16, 28 and November 1, the fifth and final round of voting of 57 seats in Bihar is underway. 1,033 companies of state police and central paramilitary forces have been deployed to ensure free and fair polls.
We are very confident that we will conduct this election as a free, fair and participatory election, and all necessary preparations have been in place, and we are very confident.
The 57 constituencies include 24 in the Simachal region bordering West Bengal and spread over 9 districts of Madhubani, Darbhanga, Supol, Madhepura, Saharsa, Araria, Kishanganj, Purnia and Katihar. Let's take a look now at some of the crucial numbers in the fifth phase. A total of 57 constituencies are polling in this phase. 827 candidates are in the fray, out of which 58 are women. A total of 14,709 polling stations are being used and 1.55 crore people are eligible to cast their vote. Prominent among those whose fate is being decided include Senior Minister Bijendra Prasad Yadav of the JDU, RJD Legislature Party Leader Siddiqui, Minister Narendra Narayan Yadav and Lalu Prasad's close aide Bhola Yadav. Except for 2 seats, polling began in 55 constituencies at 7 a.m. and will end at 5 p.m. In the 2 Naxal-hit constituencies in Saharsa district, the poll time has been cut short by 2 hours and would end at 3 p.m. The BJP has fielded a maximum of 38 candidates while the LJP nominees are contesting in 11. The Rashtriya Lok Samata Party has put up candidates in 5 constituencies and the Hindustani Awami Morcha in 3. RJD in 25 seats, JDU candidates are trying their luck in 20 and the Congress in 12. Like in the previous 4 phases, there is a bitter fight between the NDA and the Grand Alliance of the JDU, RJD and Congress in all 57 seats in the 5th round. This round is being watched keenly to see if the All India Majlis-e-Ittihadul Muslimin of Asaduddin Owaisi manages to successfully launch itself in Bihar. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
All right, my colleague Vishal Daya is now joining us from Purnia. Vishal, it's really early in the morning and voting has started about an hour back. But speaking about the mood there, what are voters telling you and how is the security arrangements placed there?
Well, let me show you the pictures, Aishwarya, and they should themselves clarify the mood of the voters. It's just been, almost an hour since the voting has begun, and there is a long line of voters. And this place where I'm standing is a model polling booth right in the middle of the city. So these all are city voters, and despite the fact that this is the city center, there is a huge turnout out here, given the fact that it's early morning, and a significant secondly, what's more important is that the queue of voters, specifically the queue of women voters, is almost as long as male voters. Now, this sort of proportion is as it has been seen in the last 4 phases. We are hoping that this proportion will change. The women voters will outnumber the male voters out here as well. But given the fact that it has been just an hour there and so large number of voters have come in to cast their votes, is a clear indication that people are coming out, people are taking that particular right of theirs to cast their vote very seriously. In this entire development, let's also give some credit to the Election Commission, to the local administration officials, because they've been running a very sustained campaign to try and make the voter aware of his right, to try and tell them that they should come out and cast their vote. Yesterday also we saw a candlelight march being taken out by some students, youngsters, and on this polling booth also there are large number of posters, banners, as spread across the city with slogans exhorting the voters to come out and cast their vote. So obviously, if figures are concerned, then everybody is hoping that just like 2014 Lok Sabha elections, wherein this particular area, these seats which are going to poll today were highest in terms of voter turnout. That's 59.41%. So exactly on the same lines, the administration officials, the polling parties, us, everyone is hoping that this time also this area will have the record number of voter turnout. Aishwarya.
All right. So the Election Commission hoping for a record turnout this time, which will if that happens, it is not going to be surprising, as we can see in the serpentine queues there. Thank you so much, Vishal, for joining us this morning and sharing those details. Meanwhile, the Election Commission has banned political advertisement in newspapers today after a BJP advertisement demanding explanation from Chief Minister Nitish Kumar over beef-eating remarks created a storm. BJP's rivals said that it is an attempt to polarize the voters. They lodged a complaint with the Election Commission, after which the ban on all political ads was taken. Last week, the Election Commission had clamped a ban on publication of 2 advertisements by BJP on quota conspiracy. The poll panel also issued warning against printing of such ads during the polling process.
चुनाव आयोग ने मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट के आर्टिकल 1 के तहत 1 नवंबर को स्पष्ट निर्देश दिए थे कि ऐसे इश्तिहार बीजेपी न दे जो समाज में घृणा, हिंसा, वैमनस्य को बढ़ावा दे। बीजेपी ने चुनाव आयोग के निर्देशों का उल्लंघन करते हुए ऐसे इश्तिहार देना कायम रखा है।
We welcome the statement by the Election Commission. We would have been happier if none of these ads had actually come out at all. And we would like the EC to also look into the matter, how these ads came out, and whoever was behind these advertisements, most stringent action should be taken against those people.
जिस तरह से विज्ञापन निकाल रहे हैं, जिस तरह से भारतीय जनता पार्टी की स्टेटमेंट हो रही है, पूरी तरह से जो है माहौल बिगाड़ने के लिए, और प्रधानमंत्री से लेके भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अध्यक्ष जो है संविधान की जो महत्वपूर्ण बात है उसको तहस नहस करके जो है पेश कर रहे हैं चुनाव के लड़ाई में, इस जंग में।
On to some other news. Well, ahead of Diwali, Prime Minister Modi is set to launch 3 important gold investment options for general public and institutions. Now, these schemes not only allow investors to earn an interest on their gold deposits, but will also be an effort to tap into unproductive gold hoards in the country. Take a look.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch 3 important gold investment schemes today. The Gold Monetization Scheme, Sovereign Gold Bonds and National Gold Coins and Bars. Of these, the monetization scheme is intended to mobilize a part of the 20,000 tons deposits stashed in India's temples, shrines and households.
You have interest in gold, now it will earn for you also. So you can hold the gold and you can earn it simultaneously. So it's a very good scheme. Market forces will play into action, they will come into action, and they will make you decide. They will not let you be complacent. They will make you decide that if you want to earn against this asset, use this scheme.
Under the monetization scheme, gold will be recycled, converted into bars and coins for valuation and interest payment. And investors can earn up to 2 to 2.5% interest on deposits. The sovereign bond scheme allows for investments up to maximum 500 grams. A fixed interest of 2.75% will be paid biennially with a lock-in period of 5 years. On exit, investors will receive the average of the closing price of gold in the previous week. Investors will of course pay income tax on interest accruals.
Expectations were that the rate of interest being low, return being low, it will be tax-free. So the people need not hassle on this issue. But as we see the scheme which is being notified, the rate of interest, though they are being around 2.75, which is there, but it is being made taxable.
The government will also sell certified gold coins and bars of 24-carat purity from select MMTC outlets. These coins will be available in the denomination of 5 and 10 grams and bars will be available in 20-gram denominations. Krishnanand Tripaঠি's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
And now a look at some of the stories lined up for the day in the day ahead. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lay foundation stone of 3 highway projects in Haryana. PM will lay foundation stone of 341-kilometer long 3 highway projects at Sonipat district. The highway projects will include Western Peripheral Expressway, Eastern Peripheral Expressway and 8-laning of highway section from Mukarba Chowk in Delhi to Panipat. The Union Cabinet is meeting in the evening today to view of the rising debt of power distribution companies. The Cabinet is likely to take up the issue of tackling 4.3 lakh crore rupees loan of DISCOMs to bring down their liabilities. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella will arrive in Mumbai on a day's visit to India. During his stay, he is likely to hold a number of meetings with the top industry leaders. Nadella will also meet Telecom and Information Technology Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad to discuss his company's plan to provide broadband connectivity in villages. Microsoft announced its plan during PM Modi's visit to US in September this year to provide low-cost broadband connectivity to 5 lakh villages in India. The setting up local data centers in India was also announced. Chinese Vice President Liu Yuanchao will be in Kolkata today. He will meet State Governor Keshrinath and Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee later in the evening. He will then arrive in Delhi and will hold talks with his India counterpart Hamid Ansari on 6th of November. He will also meet President and Prime Minister. Li is on a 5-day visit to India aimed at strengthening strategic partnership and cooperation between the two countries. The Supreme Court will hear the case of collegium system today. Several suggestions to bring greater transparency in the system of appointing judges for the higher judiciary were placed before the court on 3rd of November, including establishment of a complaint redressal mechanism. The Madhya Pradesh Assembly will hold a one-day special session today to discuss the drought situation. The session was called to make provision of adequate funds to deal with the present agrarian crisis. Farming in at least 16 districts has been severely affected due to inadequate rainfall. After success in Panchayat polls, BSP will hold a strategic session with senior party leaders in Lucknow to fine-tune the arrangements for the 2017 UP Assembly elections. And over 14 million voters will cast their vote in the second and final phase of civic polls in Kerala. The contest is between UDF and LDF. Voting will take place across 7 districts. More than 44,000 candidates are vying for 12,651 seats. Counting of votes will take place on 7th of November. And in other news, BJP leaders continue to stoke controversy over the raging intolerance debate, leaving the party red-faced amid its attempt to do the damage control. While one of the party MPs retracted from his remarks on actor Shah Rukh Khan, others joined in to step up the attack.
BJP's MP Kailash Vijayvargiya retracted his tweets on actor Shah Rukh Khan on Wednesday, claiming he was misconstrued. On Tuesday, he launched a tweet attack on the actor over his reaction on incidents of intolerance, trying to paint him as an anti-nationalist. Under fire for the remark, he retracted a day later, saying he did not mean to hurt anyone. But 2 more BJP leaders added to the controversy by continuing their verbal attack on the Bollywood actor, comparing him to the 2611 mastermind Hafiz Saeed.
ये लोग आतंकी भाषा ही यहाँ बोल रहे हैं। मुझे लगता है शाहरुख खान की भाषा में और हाफिज सईद की भाषा में कोई अंतर नहीं है।
बहुत शर्म की बात है शाहरुख खान को, जो इस तरह की बयानबाजी करके हिंदुस्तान की छवि खराब कर रहे हैं। और मैं समझती हूं जो इस तरह की बात करते हैं वो हिंदुस्तानी नहीं हो सकते, निश्चित रूप से वो पाकिस्तानी एजेंट है।
The remarks drew sharp criticism from the opposition, especially Congress, a day after it took out a unity march to raise the issue with President Pranab Mukherjee. But BJP put the blame of the controversy on the actor himself.
ये नहीं कि कोई एक व्यक्ति, आज हर समुदाय, चाहे वो हिंदू है, सिख है, जैन है, बौद्ध है, हमारे मुस्लिम समुदाय के लोग हैं, अगर वो अपनी शिकायत दर्ज करते हैं, इस सरकार पर आपत्ति करते हैं, तो सरकार उनको अपमानित करती है।
शायद शाहरुख खान के परिवार का इतिहास उन्हें पता नहीं। शाहरुख खान के परिवार ने आज़ाद हिंद फौज में नेतृत्व किया, देश की आज़ादी की लड़ाई लड़ी, और ऐसे परिवार के लोगों को पाकिस्तान जाने की सलाह देना ये उचित नहीं।
अगर उन्हें कुछ ऐसा लग रहा था कि कुछ लोग गलत बात कर रहे हैं और देश की एकता और अखंडता के लिए वो खतरा है, तो बजाय इसके कि उसकी पर बयान दें, वो कोई सही रास्ता समझाने की कोशिश करें, लोग उनकी बात मानेंगे। अगर वो ऐसी बात न कहते तो मेरी पार्टी के लोग भी उस पर उस तरह की टिप्पणी नहीं करते।
देखिए, शाहरुख खान को इस विवाद में नहीं पड़ना चाहिए और कोई पढ़ने की जरूरत भी नहीं थी। इस देश में इनटॉलरेंस के बाद जो करते हैं वो गलत है। आज भी हमारे देश में लिखने और बोलने की पूरी ज़्यादा ही स्वतंत्रता हमको मिली है।
But Shahrukh got support from actor and BJP leader Anupam Kher, who has been targeting writers and filmmakers returning their awards. Kher advised his party leaders to control their tongue before questioning someone's patriotism. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Justice Trudeau has been sworn in as Canada's 23rd Prime Minister. The swearing-in was conducted before a packed flag-waving crowd almost 50 years after his father took on the job. The 43-year-old former French teacher overcame campaign ads claiming that he was just not ready to win the 19th of October election by a landslide, bringing an end to 9 years of Tory rule under Stephen Harper. Now, Harjit Sajjan, an Indo-Canadian Sikh, was sworn in as Canada's new defence minister along with a 30-member cabinet. Harjit Sajjan, a decorated lieutenant colonel in the Canadian Armed Forces, was elected as an MP for Vancouver South, is a combat veteran and has served in Bosnia and had 3 deployments to Kandahar, Afghanistan. Now, Sajjan has received numerous military honours, including the Meritorious Service Medal in 2013 for reducing the Taliban's influence in Kandahar province. Sajjan, who is in his mid-40s, was born in India and moved to Canada with his family when he was 5 years old. And Breakfast News will take a short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay with us.
Tradition dating back centuries. A cultural heritage that inspires and warms at once. Magic that awes. Rajya Sabha Television brings you events that embrace the wonders of India's classical arts. Conversations with the biggest names in the culture and music. Rajya Sabha Television, democracy at work.
And Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari is likely to leave for Brunei from Bali today. The third leg of Vice President's Brunei trip was delayed after a volcanic eruption which forced the suspension of air travel. A fresh departure time would be fixed after consulting with Bali authorities. As per schedule, Vice President is expected to meet Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah and the Crown Prince of the country. Vice President will also address the Indian community there. And security agencies have decided to bring arrested gangster Chota Rajan to Delhi, with the CBI keeping him in custody for initial period before any other police force is allowed to take him for their respective investigations. Now, PTI quotes its sources as saying that it has been decided that Rajan will not be taken directly to Mumbai from Indonesia, where he was arrested last week. Security arrangements are being beefed up at the agency headquarters, where Rajan is likely to be kept, with regular security drills being carried out to identify any possible loophole in the security apparatus. The sources said the decision to bring Rajan to Delhi was taken during meetings of various stakeholders, including CBI, central security agencies, and Delhi and Mumbai police. They said the agency team is waiting for the first available window to bring him back, as so the ash cloud arising of volcano eruptions near Bali have halted flight operations from there. All right, my colleague Vaibhav Verma is now joining us from Bali for more on this. Vaibhav, now underworld on Chota Rajan deputation was earlier delayed after a volcanic eruption. But what is the latest that you are getting?
Well, Aishwarya, the eruption occurred on Tuesday, and since then there has been an ash cloud kind of thing over Bali, due to which at least 3 airports all over Indonesia have been closed. Because of that, there's been a delay also in the deportation of Chota Rajan. Now, from what we know, what we've come to know from airport authorities is that this blockade, this stranding of sorts, is likely to continue for some time. I mean, there's no clarity on when it will actually open up. So till that happens, Chota Rajan cannot be flown out. And that is the situation.
And as far as Vice President's visit to Brunei is concerned, that is also under cloud ash, isn't it?
Yes, we were to depart for Brunei early this morning from here. But because of this ash cloud, all flights have been stopped. We know that some 300 international and domestic flights have not been able to take off. And till that happens, we cannot move to Brunei, and it is likely that the Brunei visit may be cancelled. We might go back straight to India.
All right, Vaibhav, thank you so much for those details. Meanwhile, back home in India, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi has begun his 2-day visit to Punjab from today. Now, during the 2-day visit, he will first visit Faridkot district and meet the families of victims of police firing during a protest there against a sacrilege incident. He is also likely to visit the families of Gurjeet Singh and Krishan Singh of Saravan and Nianawala village in Faridkot, respectively. Both were killed in police firing at Behbal Kalan near Kotkapura, when the Sikhs were protesting against the sacrilege of Guru Granth Sahib at Argari village on 14th of October. He will also meet farmers in Bathinda district during his 2-day visit. And shifting focus to the situation in Nepal, where China asked the government in Kathmandu to resolve the differences over the new constitution without outside interference. Now, Beijing said that it is closely monitoring the situation in Nepal. Well, ever since the crisis erupted in Nepal over Madheshis protesting over the new constitution, China has opened its borders with Nepal and Tibet, which was closed, and sent some supplies of fuel to ease a shortage hit by protesters' blockade on the Indian border. Meanwhile, facing a fuel crisis, Nepal has requested China to open more border points for trade when the customs officials of the two countries met on Wednesday. And the US and European intelligence have suggested that a bomb planted by the Islamic State militant group is the likely cause of the last weekend's crash of a Russian airliner over Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. Downing Street convened a Cobra Emergency Committee to discuss the issue, and thereafter all flights to and from Sharm el-Sheikh to the UK have been suspended till further notice. Now, this to allow British experts to assess the security at the Egyptian airport. Now, the bomb theory has questioned the credibility of the Russian and the Egyptian probes into the disaster.
We cannot categorically say why the Russian jet crashed, but we have become concerned that the plane may well have been brought down as a result of an explosive device.
A possible bomb on board the Russian Metrojet airliner is now the leading theory of both the US and the UK for it to crash in Egypt, killing all 224 people on board. Days after dismissing claims that Islamic State brought down the passenger jet, a US intelligence analysis now suggests that the terror group or its affiliates planted a bomb on the plane. Soon after, Downing Street abruptly ordered the suspension of all further flights from Sharm el-Sheikh to Britain, saying that it believed a bomb might have been involved after all. The unexpected announcement left thousands of British tourists stranded in Sharm el-Sheikh, and the focus has now shifted to security at the Egypt's airport.
We have concluded that there is a significant possibility that that crash was caused by an explosive device on board the aircraft. Earlier this evening, we delayed the return to the UK of British-bound flights that were on the ground at Sharm el-Sheikh while we conducted a review of security at the airport.
The bomb theory contradicts both Russia and Egypt, who have maintained up till now that there is no evidence to suggest foul play. However, the statement comes at a time when the UK is hosting Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Meanwhile, investigation into the crash at the site continues. Egyptian officials said on Wednesday that they managed to extract information from the flight data recorder despite it being damaged badly. The data is ready to be analyzed. Metrojet flight 9268 crashed on Saturday in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula after breaking apart mid-air, killing all 224 people on board. It was en route to St. Petersburg from the resort of Sharm el-Sheikh. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And some more international news now in World Wrap. Romanian Prime Minister Victor Ponta announced his resignation after mass protests in the wake of a nightclub fire that killed more than 30 people last week. His decision came after some 20,000 demonstrators spontaneously took to the streets demanding the cabinet's resignation. The protests continued for a second day on Wednesday after more protesters joined in demanding early elections and further political reforms. At least 36 people were killed in a cargo plane crash in South Sudan on Wednesday. Witnesses say a Russian cargo plane crashed into a grove of fruit trees in the sparsely populated area near the capital, Juba. It is unclear exactly how many people were on board. 3 people have reportedly survived, but one of them died later. At least 20 people were killed and 75 others injured after a factory collapsed in the industrial area of Lahore in Pakistan. Around 150 people were feared trapped under the rubble. Rescue workers were digging for survivors with construction equipment. Army personnel have been deployed to the site of the factory to help in the rescue efforts. Former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak will face a second and final retrial over the killing of protesters during the 2011 uprising that ended his 30-year rule. The 87-year-old was originally sentenced to life in prison in 2012 for conspiring to murder 239 demonstrators, but an appeals court ordered a retrial. In the retrial, Mubarak was freed on those charges, but he is serving a separate 3-year sentence in a corruption case. And on to sports now. Well, India will take on South Africa in the first test at Mohali today. Well, this will be India's first test on home soil for the first time in 2 years. Kohli's side will look for a turnaround in fortune after losing the T20 and the ODI series. However, South Africa will aim to keep their record of not losing an away series in the 9 years intact.
The shorter formats are over and India is back under Virat Kohli's captaincy, and the team is looking for a change in fortune in the tests. After a dismal T20 and ODI series, India is looking for a win to make an impact, and the captain wants the bowlers to step up after a poor show so far.
I certainly believe जो आपने बोला कि टेस्ट मैच आपको बॉलर ही जिताएंगे. बैट्समैन हार्डली आपको कोई टेस्ट मैच निकाल के देंगे बहुत डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन से इफ यू आर चेजिंग. बट मोर ऑफन देन नॉट वो पोजीशन में भी आपको बॉलर्स ही डालेंगे जहां पे आप एक छोटा टोटल चेज कर पाए. तो आई थिंक बॉलर्स का रोल इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट देन बैट्समैन इन टेस्ट मैचेस.
Ravichandran Ashwin's return to the side will boost the bowling department, but the task is not easy. South Africa hasn't lost an away series in the last 8 years. This will be South Africa's first test series in India after becoming the world number 1.
I think we know the way the South Africans play. When it's under me or whether it was under Graham, we try and play tough cricket on the field. And it's nothing to look further than that. We've tried not to put any emphasis on really the opposition, but really what we do. One of the successes we've had is that we managed to bat and bowl and field pretty decently away from home, and we want to try and continue that.
The Proteas are on a roll with a formidable run in the last few years in the longer format and are looking to become the first international team to win in every format in India. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And today is the second anniversary of the launch of Mars Orbiter mission. ISRO had launched the mission from Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh on 5th of November 2013. The Mars Orbiter mission probe was successfully inserted into the Mars orbit on 24th of September 2014. Well, the Mars mission is aimed at establishing the country's capacity to reach the red planet and focus on looking for the presence of methane, an indicator of life on Mars. Last year, India became the first country in the world to have successfully launched its mission to the red planet in its very first attempt. And on that happy note, time to wrap up this edition of our Breakfast News. Thanks so much for your time.